Hello everyone, good to have you here this evening. Remember our circular cone garden and the pyramidal shaped garden. We are going to do the staking today. You know, someone asked me before, I'm looking forward to how you are going to do the staking. And so that day has come for us to do the staking. All right, there are so many interesting things that you are going to learn today, even if you have been staking your yam in sacks, but there will be some things I am very, very certain that you are going to learn from this video. Please endeavor to stay till the end. There is a unique secret I'm going to reveal, my personal experience, and I'm keeping it till the end. So make sure you try as much as possible to stay till the end. So we are starting right about now. All right. The first thing we are going to be doing, I've prepared a lot of things behind the scene before this video to make this video very, very not too long. All right. So we already see that the yams, they started growing. These are the ones we have here, and these other ones, they started growing and they need staking now because I had to do this temporary staking. All right, so we are going to be relocating all these ones right about now. First thing first, we'll have to dig our holes. Interestingly, I've already done the digging of the holes. All right, you have many options to dig your holes. For me, I use my stake hole maker. I have already talked about that in the video before, so you try as much as well. I'll put the link to that video at the end of this. So it's something that you can easily just do. For those who have access to drill, you can just drill the hole. Now, the first thing you need to understand that the hole that is going to take your stake should be about 2 feet deep, minimum of about 2 feet deep, so that your stake will be very, very firm. That's one. Then secondly, we'll be looking at the bamboos that we are going to be using. Now, let's go to the aspect of the holes that we are using for this staking. You see, it is a circular stuff. We need to have a pattern. What I have done, okay, let me start with the triangular one, because we're going to be doing them together, pari passu, at the same time. Now, I've already put the hole here. I put another one here, that is 2, and this is a third one. They are almost all on the straight line beside this triangular cone. I've done same here, I've done same there. Then for the circular one, same thing. There is a hole here, there is one hole here I've already done, and one here. This one is not perfectly aligned, but just for the want of space. Then there's one here, and one here. I've already done the digging. One thing I want you to understand is that ideally there should have been a space of about 1 meter between this circular and the triangular garden, but unfortunately, for want of space, because I needed this space to do this series of content, there was not enough. But if you have that, it is important you create a space of about 1 meter here. The reason is because so that you have access, because when these old vines they come up, if you are not careful, if you don't vine train, they will cross one another. So the next thing will be to do something about the stick that you are going to, the stick or whatever you have for doing the staking. So many people use a lot of stuff. Some use just wood. I like using bamboo a lot. I have access to them, but some people may not have access to bamboos. But for me, I have access to bamboos. Now, interestingly, this bamboo that I have here, I just harvested them today and I'm using them for staking today. The thing is this, there is a secret to using bamboo, fresh bamboo, for staking. And that's what I want to show us. Now, this part of the bamboo, in order to prevent it from germinating, because if you just put it inside the ground, it will just germinate because I harvested it today. But in order for it not to germinate, what I have done, there's a secret. I have showed it before, but just to re-emphasize that. The segment that you know will be entering the ground, you should shave them round. You should just shave them round. Now you just get your cutlass or knife, shave them round so that there will be no roots, no point for the root to germinate from here. You shave this, because I'm shaving two segments, because this whole place will enter the ground. Because if you don't, and you just put it inside the ground, they will germinate root from there. So as I've shaved the root all around, there's no connection. So automatically, even though you are seeing that this bamboo is fresh, it's already dead. In the next couple of days, you see it just be dry. That's what happened to these other ones that I use. So they will not germinate because I have already shaved all the contacts. Just shave them round. All this stuff, just remove them, shave them round so that they can just enter. They will not make contact with the ground and all that. So that's basically what is happening here. Now, the next thing for us to do is to just let me mount everything. Let me just install everything so that you will see. You see. Now I'll start with this. Okay. I'll start with this. So you can see now this one has entered the hole. That's number one. Then number two, this is an interesting one. So because this, what we're actually doing is a trellis system. It's a trellis system that we are doing, and because it's a trellis system, we are going to be having to anchor so many vines to this. So this bamboo is rather tiny for this middle one. So what I'm doing now is to double it. I'm doubling this. All right. I'm doubling this. Then this is the last one here. Okay. So you can see that for this circular one, you can see I have this, I'll connect it with this, I'll connect this with that. All right. Like I said, I've already prepared all this down so that it will be pretty easy. All right. So this is for this. Because that bamboo is thick enough, so I just allowed only one. But please take note. Always make sure that this one, the ones at the beginning, we call them the abutment. Always make sure that these abutments, they are very, very strong, because they are actually the ones that are going to really, really carry the weight. The middle ones that the engineers in code will call the pile, they are supporting, so they are just going to help to support. But these ones are the major ones, so it's very important that they are strong. If it is possible for you, make sure you double so that it will be very, very strong. Because if that one collapses, it's a big issue. All right. So same here, having to double this. Okay. So now you can see I've assembled this here, and here. Okay, so I'm going to do same now for this one. Now for me, just to also demonstrate, I'm using 2 here. 2 because I want it to be very, very strong. Okay. So there's something interesting I want to do. That's why I've not covered it. I want to demonstrate and show us. So let me just install all of them first before we now start talking about covering them. All right. So for this middle one, it's not so long, but it will serve the purpose. Okay. All right. Okay, so this one I had to double because they are tiny. Same here, because this is going to carry the weight. Because what we have here, we have over 100 yams, both seed yam, way yams planted here. They need something strong to be able to carry the weight. All right, guys, so you can now see that we have done the major form of installment. All right, we have done the major installment. Now there is something interesting I want to show us, and I will require that the camera is brought closer. Let's bring the camera closer so that we'll be able to understand what I want to do. Now because these are the abutments, I want to cover, but there is something interesting I need to do. I'm going to use a wedge. Now the reason why I'm using a wedge is to make this thing a bit divergent. The abutment here, this one, and that last one, the middle can be straight. I need to make it divergent. The reason is because I'm going to put this one now inside this one. You know, I have to make it divergent. The reason why I'm making it divergent is that with time, because I'm going to tie a rope here, so that the wedge that I've put in helps me to form a kind of anchor. The reason is because the vines with time, they'll be very, very heavy, and because they'll be very, very heavy, they are going to try as much as they will pull the weight. They'll pull it. Do you understand? So if they pull it, this divergent nature will help it to at least break, because they are pulling, it will be straightening. So, but if I make it very straight now, if they are pulling, it can collapse or it can sag. So that's why you see I am doing this right now. So what I did here is what I'm also going to do here. So that's why you see me, I just put all the wedges here. So I'm going to have to cover later. You can see now with those wedges, and I tie my rope, they'll be looking very firm. This is a form of physics. For those of us who have the knowledge of physics, it's just to balance up, to equilibrate. All right, so this is what is going on here. So this is what I used to form the hole. So I'm just using it to cover, to make sure that everything is firm. All right, so that my wedge is going to do a lot for me with time. It's going to help me form of anchor very, very well. All right, guys, I have succeeded in installing and covering everything. So now what you can see that this one is divergent. See, these abutments, they are divergent. So when I tie the rope now, with time, as the vines they start pulling on the weight, at least this divergence, because of the wedge, will help me do some form of bracing. Now the next thing is to use ropes, because this is a very crucial part of making this trellis in the staking of these patterns of yam sacks. Now these are just, wires from old this old video cable, this wire and all that. So the most important thing, has to be very, very strong. So this is coated with, it's a copper wire that is coated with it's an electrical wire kind of, so I don't throw away anything. Now in place of this, you can use binding wires and all that, but there is a new thing I want you to learn, because it may be a very big challenge to get. You can get a nylon rope that is thick enough. The most important thing, that this has to be thick, because this is the foundation, because it's the anchor on which every other vine is going to be anchored on. So it's very important. This is one. I'm going to show you another thing that you can use, but that one is very, very important. You stay connected so that you can get that one. All right. So what we're going to do now is to tie. We're going to tie this, and this one will now be the beginning. So this is the major anchor for the trellis. All right. So I go. So you see the way I'm pulling now, because of the wedge that I put. So it's helping me. All right. So I'm going to anchor here. So it has to be tight. I don't want it to sag, because definitely with time it will sag because of the pulling. But at least now it should be as firm as possible. So that's why you see it should be a very, very strong rope. It should not be weak. So this is the foundation. This is the trellis system. So I'm pulling. You see the pull now, because the wedge is there doing some fantastic job for me. So already anchored. I'm not worried at all, because this is wire. It's not really going to just snap or something. All right. This is fantastic. So you see, if the vine they are pulling, it will be bringing this one closer, because I've already wedged it. So it's very unique. All right. So that's why I always like to make it divergent. So no matter the weight, with time, worst case scenario, it will eventually straighten up. So that angulation is very, very helpful for my vines. Okay. So this is another wire. So I'm just using stuff that people will want to normally discard. So I always find use for these things in my farm. All right. So this requires some form of strength to It's not for the weak. Okay. Okay, I'm done with this anchoring here now. Just to tie. Okay. So I'm good here. So it's as simple as that. So this is the major framework. The major framework for this has been done. All right. So this is one trellis and this is another trellis. Remember, I told you there's a secret I want to reveal. I'm not saying that until I'm done. All right. Now there's something else. If you don't use this kind of wires, if you don't use this kind, this, you also have another option. This is a fishing twine. This is a fishing twine. And this fishing twine is actually what I will be using to connect the vines to the major anchor in the trellis system. But there's something else you can do with this. What if you don't have this, you don't have access to this, or you don't have that plenty money to buy this? There's a way out. This fishing twine is very, very strong. You can actually use it to do something like this. You may be asking how, but it's very tiny. Remember the proverb that says that a 3-foot cord cannot be easily broken. So this one, you can make it into up to about 6 or 8, double them, and eventually you can now use it to make your trellis system. So this is what I have done here. Let me just bring it. I did this off camera. Now you can see that this row, this one now, is about 8 that I joined together because I have measured the length. It's about 8. So this is what I'm going to be using as in place of my very strong wire, binding wire and all that. So see how we are going to do this. It's simple, just the way we did the others. I've already, so this one is about 8 now, 8. You can make your own 6. If you want to make it 10, the stronger, the more, the stronger. Let me use that one. Okay. So this is what I'm doing here now. Be careful because there are very places that do not go and tangle. I'm going to try to be very, very firm, because this is my anchor. Even if I have a remnant, I'm not even going to cut this one off because it will help me to anchor some yam vines later to this. So this is now, I'll leave this one so I can use them to do my anchorage later. So getting the next one now so that I can let me tie this one. So you can see how interesting it is that you can always make do with what you have. You can make do with what you have. You don't have money to buy. This particular fish twine is not so expensive. You can use it, and it's very plenty. You can use it both as the major anchor for the trellis, and then you can also use it to get the vines anchored. Please make sure that you tie as much, let it be as tight as possible. All right. Okay. So Okay. That is very, very, very careful not to go and break this vine. So that's a little bit of a disadvantage. This one can tangle a lot, so you have to be very careful. Okay, guys. Whoa. These vines are not smiling with me. Okay. Okay. Okay, now we are done here. Okay. Okay. So guys, the major structure is done. We've already done the major structure for our trellis system. Now, what is the next thing to do? The next thing to do will be just to start connecting the vines. To start connecting the vines to the trellis system. Now, what you can do is this. You can decide to take some of these vines and connect directly. Let them follow directly the bamboos. So all the ones that are close to the bamboos, they will just follow the bamboo and go. But the ones that are not close to the bamboo, you will use rope to connect them to this major anchorage system. That is the major thing to do. We are going to be doing that now. We are going to be doing some of that now. All right. Remember that this is the temporary stake that we did here, because I wasn't ready then, so I just decided to till when I will have the time to do the trellis system. Now that I've done that, I can now decide to take this stuff and just let them follow the trellis system, like what you can see here now. So this one now, I've connected it to the trellis system, and off it goes. It will just be going. So that's the interesting thing about this. Now, there's something I want to make us understand here. I don't like to make my vines crowded. That is why I did this system here, this stuff here, and this one here. Because you might be wondering, why didn't I just do one in the middle so that I will put all the vines? If I do that, it will make it crowded. So my principle is this when staking stuff like this, because I will encourage everybody to be doing this now. My principle is very simple. Some vines to the left, some vines to the right. Like you see, I'm already connected some to the right, because these ones it's more convenient to go to the right. The ones that are going to come from here, I'll take them to the left here. Now, what that means it means that there will be parting of all the vines to the right and so they are not all jam-packed. So the middle will have access to sunlight. Now you might be wondering, is it not only the leaves that we need sunlight for? Apart from the leaves, we also need some form of heat or sun to get to the sacks. The reason is very simple. For those of you who you've been growing yam in sacks, you would have observed something, that if you crowd certain areas, the tubers of yams, this is from my own personal experience, the tubers of yam that will come out from those, you might get some damages because it creates an environment for fungal infection or for fungal agents to thrive, and they will end up damaging the yam tuber. That's from my own experience. So what I try as much as possible to do now, as far as yam in sack is concerned, is to try and expose the sack so that at least sun can get there. The way to do that is to find a way to make sure that your staking will expose the sack. You should try to stake away from your sacks so that your sacks can be exposed. So with this arrangement, you'll see that my sacks will be exposed because I'm going to the right, to the left. It's like you are patting the Red Sea, kind of. So to the right and to the left, and you just see sunlight will be coming to the middle. The same thing will happen here, obviously. The ones that are close to this place, I will anchor them here. And the ones that are close to this place, I will anchor them here. So we're going to be doing some form of anchorage now. Before we remember, I still have one more secret I need to let you know, so don't go away. So all right guys, we need to now connect. So what I'm doing now, of course, this fish twine is what I'm going to be using to connect. So I will just anchor this to the sack or a sack there. Then so this is what I'll just do. You can have as much, you can actually make it very long, so that you can just do as much anchorage with one particular long twine until you are done with that. See? Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is just anchor the edge of the sack. Don't poke too low because you know your sack is also serving another, that space is serving a purpose of having to help retain water. So it's as simple as this, so that later all you now need to do is to just prepare this one down. Then the next is to now start anchoring all your vines as far as the structure is already made down. All right. So guys, we are done with the connection now. So I have already connected all the sacks, this side to the right and this side to the left. So as they grow, this is just the first set I've done. So for example, now this, all I just need to do is if I want this one to go this way, fine, I'll just connect this one. So off it goes. Even the ones that are, these ones, they are already long. So you can see what I'm doing now. Of course, you know how to take it. You know how, I've already taught us this before, but just to remind us, please make sure that your vines always go to the right anti-clockwise. You understand? Because if you do it the other way around, it will turn and find it, because it's naturally designed to go to the right of the rope that you are putting. Or you use the word anti-clockwise. So it always goes to the right. So I'm trying to untwine this now. All right. So this one, we'll just look for the nearest rope. This is the nearest rope. So it will go. And off it goes. It's as simple as that. Not a difficult thing at all. So this one can also still follow this one here. So you can see that with time, there's already a laid down structure. The ones that can get to the bamboo stick themselves, they will just follow. So you do some to the right and some to the left. Now, here is the secret. I was trying to keep to this last point. You know, like I've mentioned, I normally like to expose. But again, what informed the direction that I chose is what I want to tell you. This is my own personal experience. As you can see, I did not bother to cross this one to this in order to say, let me anchor these ones here. So I just decided to make them parallel to each other. The reason is very simple. Whenever I want to either construct my ridge or place my sacks, I always look for the east, the position of the east, because I'm trying to maximize every amount of sunlight without having to, crowd or cast shade of my yam vines. I want to explain that. Now, where I am facing, as I'm facing you now, the camera is in the east. And so the sun will set in the west. So this is evening now. This is sunset already. So if the sun comes in the morning, it will go this way. It will start from here and go this way. So my trellis will also face the east to west position. Because if I face either north south or south north, if the sun is going to rise from the east, only those on the east side will receive sunlight very, very well. It will cast shadow on the other side. This is my own personal experience, and to be honest, I learned it from those old farmers, yam farmers. But I think it is left to be validated. Maybe one of these days we'll plant and do trellis against east and west so that we'll see and make a comparison. But for now, I don't want to take chances. How be it, though that may be an doctor, but it makes a lot of sense. All your yam vines will collect sunlight almost all at the same time. The ones here will not cast shadow on the ones here because they are all parallel. So east, west. So all the yam vines will collect sun as they are exposed to the east position. So that's the reason why I said my trellis is always like this, because I could have crossed that first one to the other one to also connect my vines. That's a haphazard arrangement, and it doesn't actually really make sense. But I want to know what you think. Yes, I want to know what your experience is. Does it really matter? It may not, but maybe with time we'll get to ascertain that. But it makes sense to say. So 2 things you are taking away from the staking of this particular pattern of arrangement of sacks. You try as much as possible to expose your sacks so that you can be having enough sun. And again, another thing, my living here will give me the opportunity of always coming to walk around here. I'll walk. I'll be able to weed my stuff and all that. To the front also, I'll be able to do that. I'll be able to apply my fertilizer. I can go to the side. So I can actually just go around and assess my sacks, because that is very, very important. I see a lot of people, you are growing yam in sacks, you just don't have a pattern of staking. It's not nice, because at the end of it all, when the vines will all be muddled up, you'll be surprised that you cannot even get access to your sack again. And that's not so good, because you need to be monitoring your sack. Maintenance is very key in yam in sack, so that if anything is going wrong, you'll be able to correct them right there and then. And I'm very, very sure you have learned so much today, even if you have been staking before, but you have learned so much from the staking that we have done today. Now that you have seen that this can be done, I want to see people do this. Try this. Let it not just be that I'm the only person doing this. Why not try this? Because I've tried it before and I had very good yield. Try it and try and see if you can validate what I am putting out here. It will be very, very interesting to see another person do the same thing. I want somebody to even do far, far better than this. Come up with fantastic ideas, more ideas for us to all learn from. I want to appreciate you guys because you've been very, very wonderful. For those who have been reaching out to us using a thank you button, we are grateful. A lot goes into this, so we still need your support in every way possible. You can even reach out to us personally to support our project. If you have products you want us to review for you, reach out to us. As far as yam is concerned, we've been doing quite a lot and we'll keep continuing our work because there's a lot to be done. Yam in sack, we have not even started. A lot to be done. So thank you guys for always reaching out to us. There are many more videos that we have uploaded regarding this. Try as much as possible to look at our playlist, and we know you will get quite a lot of information. Do you have questions? I want us to go to the comment section to look at these things critically. If there are gray areas, let us, look at them. If there are also areas you want us to learn from you, please put them in the comment section. Thank you so much, and God bless you.